Pulse 95. Between local lines, notes from the Emirate.
Hello, good morning and welcome back onto the Morning Majlis. We're talking all things facilities and helping others as well. We are going to be joined by His Excellency Dr. Rashid Al Leem, who is the chairman of the Sharjah Electricity and Water Authority. We're talking about their cooling truck. So, Your Excellency, a very good morning to you and thank you for joining us.
My pleasure. Good morning to you.
Well, it is a true delight to have you on air once again with us, this time on Zoom. And let's start talking about the cooling truck and what does it do?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on this lovely morning in your program. Before I proceed and giving some highlights about the cooling truck, I just want to say that I'm a leader who cares. I'm a leader who is driven by a deep meaning of work ethics, principles. So we're driven by a deep mission where it goes beyond the profitability and the balance sheet. We're driven by the people are the focal points of any progress. As you may probably know that in SEWA, we are having almost 4,000 employees. And they come from 28 different nationalities. So we do appreciate the background they come from, and we do appreciate the amount of work they contribute to the success of the whole nation, not only to SEWA. So I have to salute them and say a big thank you to all of them for being part of this lovely progress of this great nation. Most of the employees, I call them the frontline soldiers. They came from the subcontinent. So over 2,500 employees, they work on the front line. When I say the front line is the main production lines, which is the electricity, water, and the gas. And they work under extreme weather conditions. I wish President Trump is not hearing me now because he wouldn't love what I say now. I'm a strong believer of the climate change. And I think climate change is a fact, is not fiction anymore. We're seeing it here in the Gulf, and I see it here in SEWA too. In some location in the middle of the desert where I have some projects are going on at the moment, and we have some old substations. We used to record about 47, 48 probably as a maximum temperature. For the last 2-3 years, it goes beyond 0 to 51, 52 even, which is extreme, I would say. And in the same area, during the winter time, the temperature goes down as low as 3 to 5 degrees, just being part of Switzerland. So that much difference in the temperatures. So we're really living in both extreme ends, very, very hot weather and very, very cold, I would say, for us at least, in this part of the world. So we do live in those two extremes. And poor guys, most of them, they work under these two, both extremes. And that's why I said I do salute them, I do respect them, and I do appreciate what they do, because part of my principles is to be on site, to go and see what those guys are doing, to really feel their feeling and feel what they're doing. So a couple of times when I went there, I saw how difficult it is to work under extreme weather temperature. Yes, we do have a law here by the authorities that there is certain time of the year, certain time of the months, we are off. We go off for 3-4 hours, but still that's not enough. And we do provide them with the basic need. If you would, little water and, soft drinks and other. But to me, it wasn't enough. I always say that, there's something big is missing. And whenever you try to come up with a solution, you see more difficulties and obstacles than the solution. So and then you give up. And you say, you know what? Let me live with what others are living. But still deep inside me, I said, no, there is something that still could be done. And years, if you would probably know that I used to manage 4 big departments for 10 years in the Sharjah government. Before my appointment back in 2014 to SEWA, I was chairing the seaports, the customs, the Hamriya Free Zone, and the Sharjah International Airport for 10 years. And one of the things we challenges we used to face at the port is the containers. Once they really go obsolete off the the expected lifespan of them, they have to go for salvage or recycling, and it is really a big headache. But we came up with a couple of innovative ideas earlier to turn them to little workshop, and sometimes even security guards and other. Tried to do the best we could. So I built actually on the same old idea. I said, okay, if earlier we were able to use the containers before salvaging them or scrapping them to be really in a good use, why don't we do something similar here and turn them to have coolers, put ACs. So the idea I had in mind to put really a movable generator, small generator set, and one AC. And the employees will go in for a couple of 3-4 hours. They can have a quick nap or just relaxation. Then I said, no, that won't be really that much helpful, because again, from extreme temperature 50 plus to another extreme 20 plus, it's not good for the body. Why don't you come with another solution? Come up with the mist device, where it really gives the misty water in a cold temperature to cool off their bodies with the international accepted temperature by the WHO. And then I build on that idea. Say, here's the catch. Then we can probably a 1,000-gallon tank with a cooler on the top and misty system sprayed on the body or on the face or the whole body. And when I tried it on, actually it wouldn't even consume 10 liters for a minute. And that gives you a mist from top to your toes of your, so the idea did work really well. And I said, okay, now we did test it. That gives you a very good cooling temperature. I tested on myself, and I see how beautiful it was. Really, it gives you really a refreshment and it's beautiful cooling water. Then I said, okay, the container is about 20 feet. I said, but 20 feet is too big for one misty room. Then, the idea we started to build on, and we came up with 5 compartments of 5 rooms. Now, if you ask me what this room contains, it contains beautiful things. First, it contains that misty, sprinklers around your body from the top of your head to the bottom of your leg, and just sprays that misty, cooled water. So it really gives you enjoyment and refreshment. And it goes so misty, just like a foggy room. It tends to be like a foggy room. It's a real foggy. And then you have towels. You could really use to clean yourself. You have sanitizers, because we're living with this COVID-19 too. So we thought it is really a way to fight this COVID too, to minimize the spread of this. Because when people can go inside, go totally clean and use the sanitizer, then there's access to the drinking water. There's a cooler inside, small cooler, which has a drinking water, some energy drinks, and some soft drinks. So it did work very well. And the beauty of it, this is a mobile station. So as you go on with the project, you can move it on and keep it where you have more laborers, and then they can have access to that any time of the day, including the night too, at those times, yes.
Well, Your Excellency, we certainly salute your keenness in coming up with innovative solutions and easing the burdens of the workers. And we are definitely used to seeing your humanitarian gestures through all your previous initiatives. But going back to talking about the cooling truck itself, how many are there being distributed, and where is it really placed, in what areas?
At the moment, we started with one, because I want to go for a pilot just to make sure that to get some feedback from those who are going to use it. And so far, we really haven't got except the enjoyment and the excitement of it. And almost everyone wanted to try it. I mean, I've never seen a supervisor who told me that someone who resisted of not using it. He said, no, actually, they wanted to register their name earlier to make sure that they have access for a couple of minutes, maximum 2 minutes actually it would take. So it wouldn't consume that much of water anyway. But the beauty is we want to test it for as a pilot, and the idea to go for the second and the third, and then will be spread across the desert side, I would say, where you don't usually have access to the basic need, if you would, in a way. It's just like what you see sands, covering all over, but you don't see, hotels, you don't see restaurants, you don't see bakeries, you don't see all these things. So in the isolated area, if you would, they will be distributed.
And where's the pilot one placed at the moment? Is it in the SEWA head office or is it at a construction site?
No, and it is in the middle, in the construction area, an area called Hamda, which is about 30 kilometers from the SEWA headquarters. And it sits there at the moment, and it's been used nicely. And the feedback and the enjoyment and the happiness we receive from the worker has really encouraged us to speed up the process of building more. And by the way, building more does not take time, because as I said, we have a lot of used containers. They can be converted, and the conversion wouldn't take maximum 3 days, maximum, if you would, in a way. So it's very beautiful, innovative idea, and does not cost so much money, but it really will end up of having more engagement and a more happiness place and positive place to work for.
We're speaking to His Excellency Dr. Rashid Al Leem, Chairman of the Sharjah Electricity and Water Authority. And Your Excellency, you touched on a very important topic, and one that your organization has been keen on combating, and that is climate change. Can you talk to us more about the impact of climate change, why it's such a big concern to you, and what initiatives you've been enrolling to deal with it?
I think that the top factor comes on this climate change is the CO2. And by the way, I don't want really to show CO2 as an ugly giant who coming there to knock us down. No, not at all. I mean, without CO, we cannot live. The plants, they need CO2 to breathe, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever you give as a waste, somebody else using it and giving us some good product. So we want to maintain a reasonable talk, because one misunderstanding of the CO2, even our school. I mean, my kids, when they come back home, they show me, CO2 as a scary giant, and he's coming to knock them down, and he's looking at their, even the bedroom. And so, which is really ridiculous. I think that is very extreme case. But I think let us be reasonable. We do have machines. I'm talking about the global level in my industry now. There are some plants, people say, you know what, my plant has been there for the last 70, 80 years. Yeah, that's good. It is there for the last 70, 80 years. But your plant is a piece of junk now, because it gives us really bad gases and the fumes to the society. It's killing the people health. We have more people than ever. We have more compacted city. We have more people moving from the suburb to the main cities. So this becomes so much condensed that you need to take care of the air quality. And there are so many factories also coming up without really paying so much attention to the amount of destruction they do, whether it's noise level or the CO2 level. But when it comes to us and how important to our industry, this is a very beautiful question. We have adopted a principle called eco-imagination. And this principle was actually produced by GE back in early 2004, or 2005. And when it came out, everybody was against, because, this is going to cost a lot of money, what you're talking about. So basically, imagination is that you take care of the environment by providing innovative solutions to reduce the amount of destructions, the amount of waste, reduce the amount of CO2, or they call them inert gases, right, which they really could cause, severe damage to the environment. So we have adopted the basic principles of the eco-imagination, and it did work well. So now at the moment we are building 2 mega projects, one in Hamria, which is with GE, and a consortium led by GE and Japanese firms. And one of the requirements, make sure that eco-imagination is really implemented fully. Means that we don't want to see that much destruction or that much CO2 going beyond the international accepted limits. We don't want to use so many gases, and the machines which we are installing will be the one of its kind in the whole Gulf region. We are proudly saying that it is already installed, but just a matter of the startup phase now. So if they start, they will be the best efficient machines, and those machines, they were in the Guinness record, because they were first installed in France a couple of years back. and they were in the world record, and no one has broken that record. They are the most efficient and the best machines. They use less gas, and they give you less trouble to the environment. So we are second to install them here in Sharjah. And I don't want really to rush to a judgment now saying that we are having that. No, let's have them up and running and really see the efficiency. And then we can really declare that we're having the best machine in the whole Gulf area. So this is one things we do. And we did a lot of retrofitting programs by replacing the lights. Probably on the streets you have seen replacing the old conventional lights with what's called LED now.
LED.
And it did work very well. We did use the solar system for the street lights, especially on the remote areas. And for that reason, we had a certificate from the Climate Change Office of the United Nations, and I proudly say this, that we are the first organization and the Sharjah government to obtain such a high prestigious award from the United Nations Climate Change Office, saying that we were able to save this much amount of bad gases going to the sky, and we were able to offset this carbon credit with non-performing plants in Asia. So it was actually a great achievement, because whatever we have saved here, we could really offset it with some plants which they are not performing well in India precisely. So I'm happy to see that we're really contributing beyond Sharjah boundaries now. It's not only that we did save, but whatever we saved, if you change it to a money to a credit, it is already credited to somebody else. Right?
Yeah, it's incredible and a testament to the culture of conservation and sustainability that you have at SEWA. Just a very quick question here is the consumer and the role as well. Would you speak about the role that we as consumers of electricity and water here in the Emirate, what we can do at home to maintain that culture as well and help fight climate change?
Well, conservation is the key. If I have to leave this interview with this word, one piece of advice to them is please do conserve. It is not only for you, for the generations to come. So make sure that whatever you save a gallon of water today, it will remain underground for the next generation to come and pick it up. If you don't, we're running through a severe condition, not only here, it is worldwide. And we have seen it in some cases, even in Europe last year. If you were in London or Sweden or those places, they also banned to irrigate the small garden you have in the house or to clean your car with the water, because they was running short of water. And there was a lot of heavy penalties if you exceed that. So we have seen it happening even in the middle of Europe and then America itself, and it's happened some Asian, and it's happening here. So we need to be very careful of what we use. So don't overuse. Don't take things for granted, please. Please pass the message to your kids at home. Don't take you wake in the morning and you take the water for granted, that when you open up the tap, the water comes from the tap. And this is when you ask your children at home where the water comes from. I get a funny answer, Dad, it is from the tap. So and that's really a good answer, I would say, a smart answer. But when it comes to reality, it takes hell of process to get you this liter of water to your tap at home. So it's not an easy business, believe it or not. It's just a very big business to do so. So we just need to do conserve. It's good for you and good for the next generation. If you love the Mother Earth, please give her something back. Give her a big kiss by conservation. Yeah.
True. Well, Your Excellency, it was a pleasure speaking to you this morning. I know you've got a very busy day ahead of you as well, and thank you for taking the time out to get involved in the discussion and joining the Morning Majlis, and we look forward to welcoming you again very soon.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me again.
Well, look forward to that as well. Thank you very much, and we'll be right back on the Morning Majlis continuing the discussions, so stay tuned to Pulse 95.
Pulse 95. You're listening to Pulse 95. Pulse 95.
It's Pulse 95.